and welcome to Launch Lab. It is Wednesday, and I was trying to very quickly correct that I had on the screen the schedule for the upcoming week. It has shifted just a little bit, but what I had was a little bit incorrect, so I was trying to grab the right one. And so I can't share that with you just now, but I will in the next call. So basically, this call here today is all about getting started in this business in LifeWave. X39 is our main focus with the quantum team, and how to go from starting your business to get to the manager level. That is the main focus, and to get to a solid manager level where you're able to start making some money, building team, creating a momentum, and perhaps maybe setting a goal to get to the next levels of director and above. And that's where our call on Monday nights, which is called Leadership Lab, comes into play. And Leadership Lab is the focus of you're now a solid manager and you're looking and you've got your eyes set on getting to director and to senior director and above. And so the concepts are also, all the foundations are the same. We learn the basics and then we duplicate and we teach others the basics, but our skill sets, our mindsets, all the things, the ways that we do things, the way we find our own groove, our own goals, they all shift and grow with us. And so we really start to discuss some of those deeper topics and enhance those topics, if you will, as we move into that leadership lab on Monday nights. So those are the two training calls that we have each week. The Saturday morning calls have been removed from the calendar for reasons that are basically probably people showing up and what is working for the team and what people are the feedback from the team. So right now we have two training calls per week. Again, one which is tonight, launch lab on Wednesdays, leadership lab on Mondays, and then Mondays and Wednesdays, right after these calls, we have our opportunity calls where I go through all the basics about the product, the company, the industry, and the basics of our compensation plan. So really the four puzzle pieces that help people to make an educated decision to take a step forward. So they can come in as somebody just looking at the product, just taking a peek at the business, kicking the tires. What's this industry about? And what about this compensation plan? They can learn whatever it is that they need just on the foundational level. And of course, I lead them to next steps, bigger tools to make more solid decisions and to take a step forward. So those calls are Mondays and Wednesdays every week. So make sure you have those in the calendar. That's part of our 331 system in plugging people into next steps and if they want to engage with the business. So welcome to Launch Lab. Normally I have one or two other co-hosts on the call with me tonight, and it was a birthday and they had a celebration, they're married. And so that call, they're not here tonight. So I'm going to be hosting this call myself, but I do have a guest on tonight. So I will talk about basically what I'd like to try to cover tonight, but your engagement is everything. And honestly, that I'm doing this for you. We are doing this all together for you. And so your engagement is not only requested, it's really required in order for all of us to get the best out of these calls, because we learn from each other. Sometimes we don't even know the questions we have until they're posed by somebody else, and then we get that layer and then it prompts something else. So please use the chat. And oh, we've already got a hand raised. So normally I don't do live pull-ins, but I will tonight, full on if I can manage it myself. I have my glasses handy. But otherwise, use the chat and type your questions in. I do have one beautiful woman from my team who's going to be on the call tonight that I wanted to pull on last week. And so she's pulled over the side of the road. She's traveling right now. I'm going to pull her on first, and then I will get to you. Let me see. Is it Shonda? Yes, Shonda, I will get to your question or to your hand raised as soon as I can. And so yes, so let's talk about what we're going to do tonight. So I'm going to be inviting Ilana on the call. Oh, there you are. Oh my gosh, you're in the dark.
I know, I really am. I'm really trying, like, here. That's
It's
it. I
okay.
got the lights of my car. Sorry,
That's
guys.
fine. So this is Ilana. She's been on another call of us before, and literally she's traveling right now. She's pulled over the side of the road. But what's the reason I wanted to pull her on is because Ilana came in. She came in at the level of diamond. We had this conversation last week. So if you don't know where to find these replays, really quick, go to our YouTube page, go to the playlist. The YouTube page, I'm going to post it on the next call. You guys should know where that is. If you don't, get on the next call and you'll find out where that is. So on the playlist on Wednesdays, again, Launch Lab, watch last week's Launch Lab. It was loaded. They're all loaded and they're all slightly different. So if you want training, that's deep, deep training in there. But last week we were talking about social media, getting going on social media. When is the right time for people to go from, getting started to actually going to Diamond and so on? Ilana and we met, gosh, late summer, right? I think it was late summer, almost moving into the fall, right? Oh, I can't hear you. Sorry. You're on mute.
It was late September.
Late September. Okay.
Mm-hmm.
So late September we met and she found me, and we don't need to go into that story. Nonetheless, we connected, and she had been in a company that I was actually in before. We had similar, stories around that. And she came in and she saw the vision and she said, how do I get started? I want to do this. And I encourage, as always, for those people who have a network, who've been in network marketing before, or direct sales of some sort, or have an influence or a storefront, to go Diamond. And it seemed like a right fit. Now, granted, it can seem like a right fit, but it doesn't always work out the way we want to. And I'm just being totally honest, because we have our own stuff, right? We have our own things, and we've had our own experiences, and we don't know how people are going to respond with a new thing. And so Lana came up on this. And do you mind me being super?
Please, I'm an open book. I have
I didn't think
no
so.
problem.
And I want this to really resonate with people, because sometimes we go Diamond and we really succeed and we just bring on Diamond, 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 Diamond. And sometimes we wait and then we decide when to go Diamond. And hopefully next week I'm going to be pulling Jill on. She couldn't make it tonight. And Jill has been holding off on going to Diamond, and she's getting ready to start. So I want to have that conversation next week. When do we promote people to Diamond, or promote, I should say, when do we upgrade somebody to Diamond? And what's that all about? But Ilana, she was just like me. We had the vision. We had done this before. We're like, let's do it. We're all in. Let's go, go, go. And while she started to bring some people in, it wasn't to the liking, right? It wasn't to the vision. It didn't match the vision. And that can be really discouraging. And it starts to bring up our fears. It starts to bring up our challenges. It starts to bring up our beliefs. And so, working through that and having somebody by all means reach to your sponsor when these things happen, because this is part of the growth that happens in this type of a company. This is your business, but you have the support to help you get the psychology and the skills and all the beliefs that need to be all in place for us to become a leader and to become successful and to build a massive business out of this. But we all come in at our own levels. We don't know our blind spots. We don't know our level of influence. We don't know what we don't know. So it is important to know that coming in, even on this call, coming in as a brand new person, that your journey will be unique to you and we've got your back. And you need to come in at a level that's comfortable, that you believe could be a stretch for you, maybe not a splatter, just a stretch. And we're going to work together. And if we don't hit it right away, we will hit it later. So Ilana came in, and this was kind of her story, and she didn't hit the targets she wanted. And so the self-doubt started to kick in, some of the mindset started to kick in, but then we tried different things. We were like, okay, let's try this tactic. Let's try that one. Let's try this way. Like, what is the fit? Because it's so unique, the way there's so many ways to do what we do. And it's so important to find that for each other. And finally, Ilana, I should say finally, she was trying this and trying that and trying this. And then bam, something clicked. And it had to do with some of these launch labs and another team member, a sideline from her. And that's why I wanted to invite her on, because all of a sudden she's bringing people in. And it's starting to work. Whether or not that continues to grow in a certain way doesn't even matter right now. This is where we are right now. And so Ilana, thank you for being here. If you wouldn't mind
Sure.
sharing with us a little bit about the mindset challenges that you hit, and then kind of how you took that forward. What did you do to change the mindsets and that openness to try something new, and what's happened?
Sure. So when I joined, I had zero expectations as far as what the products were going to do, but I really wanted to see what the patch, how it was going to work. And because I didn't have any expectations and I didn't know what to, I didn't know what to look out for, etc. At first, I was like, "Oh, I'm not going to share anything until I know that I'm having results." And then suddenly, 2, 3 days later, I was like, "Oh, this is pretty good," and I started sharing. And it was person to person. Now, for the past few years, I have been really a recluse. Like I've literally just kept to myself, stayed with my family, just basically not hanging out with many friends and not spending a lot of social time. And so that kind of bit me in the backside a little bit at the beginning, because I had to now not only reconnect with people one on one, whether on the phone or by text message or messenger, but I felt like it was a journey versus, "Hey, I got this product, I've got this patch." So at first I would kind of jump on people. Then I was like, "Okay, this is not working. Like I can't just throw myself at them." So then I would sort of reconnect with them one by one, very time consuming. It was, and so many no's, it was always like, "Well, yeah, thanks for thinking of me, not really my thing, whatever." And I I did purchase the diamond pack with the intention of recouping all my money, by the time the 3 months were up. I did like the fact that it was 3 months of activity, of being active on my account, because that made a huge, psychologically, it made a huge difference to me to know that I was taken care of for 3 months. I didn't have to think about any orders or anything. So I was like, okay, I can focus. Um, but it just didn't rev up as quickly as it should have. I mean, as I felt like it should have at the time. Um, it was definitely self doubts came in. I thought to myself, "My God, maybe I can't do this. Like maybe I'm never going to be able to do this." But I was like, "No, no, no. There's got to be a way. Like there's no way. I'm not. I'm very competitive generally, and if I see other people succeeding in something, there's no way I'm going to give up. But I needed to figure out my groove and how I fit into this and how I was going to do it. And then you helped me definitely realize that my journey is not somebody else's journey. And I just can't compare myself to someone else who might have a super massive social following or friends and activities that they go to all the time. As an aside, I live in Atlanta, where any kind of activity you do in the evening, you're stuck in traffic for hours. So, going out and spending time with people, I thought about it and I was like, there's no way. Like, I just cannot leave for hours every evening and start making new friends and all of that. So, those were kind of my limiting beliefs at that point. And I did a couple of things. One thing that really helped me is I started to approach people in a more direct way, but asking them if they knew someone who might blah blah blah. And that already kind of made a huge difference, because I would say to someone, "Hey, listen, I don't have much time, but I have a question to ask you. I just started using these patches, stem cell activating patches. Who do you know that has A, B, and C? Or who do you know that I should talk to?" And then I would stay quiet and they'd be like, some people would say, "Oh, you know what? I'll put my thoughts into it. Send me some information. I'll look into it." And I was like, okay. And other people would say, "Me?" And I'd be like, "Oh, tell me more. What's going on? What's happening?" And so that was already, it kind of gave me a little bit of wind in, under in my sails, kind of like, it just sort of gave me a little bit more hope. And I was like, I didn't feel like I was jumping on people and I was pushing them in any way, or they were judging me. I would basically just say, "Who do you know?" And that already kind of opened a few doors. And it was a lovely feeling after all the no's I had gotten. And and then I don't know why it took me so long, but I finally, 4 months in, decided to make a Facebook post and then to create a Facebook page. I don't know why. I don't know why it took me so long, because I'm someone that on Facebook, whenever I talk to somebody on the phone or if I catch up with somebody, they know everything about my life. I know nothing about theirs, but they know everything about my life because I post pretty regularly. And even if I didn't post for 3 months, people still keep up with me. I don't know why, but they like my family. They like me. And so I was like, why didn't I do that before? But I know why, because I was back from, there was a couple of reasons. I had done another network marketing company where I pushed and pushed and pushed it for years. And I didn't want people to think, oh, here she goes again, there she is, with something else going on. And the other thing is, and that's a little bit different, and I don't know how many people can relate to it, but I'm Jewish. And when I joined, it was I started my patch the week after the October 7th attacks in Israel. And that's my whole crew. All my people are all Jewish, and they were checked out. I couldn't talk to them. All they had on their mind was, the fate of their people, and everybody was just such a mess. And I was feeling fine because I was on the patches and I was totally I was cool. Like I wasn't taking it personally, but I realized that my whole crew and all the people I could have hit on were not, they were checked out. I just couldn't. So and I also felt weird posting I felt weird posting on Facebook about something I was so excited about when all my people were so sad and upset. So that was kind of a weird time.
Can I pause you for a moment?
Yeah. Yeah.
Are you open for me to be able to expose some of the underlying things here I know I don't mean to put you on the spot, but I know that I know you. You're my gal.
Sure.
So
You got it.
I just want to point out a couple of things here because, and granted, yes, I'm a coach and I look for these things. So I'm listening and this is not a leadership call. I get it. And at some point, I want you to recognize that if you have a goal, you will become a leader in this, and you do want to listen for these things with the people that you bring in. What is that self-talk? What is that? What are the beliefs? You can literally hear them coming out of the words, but you can also start to sense them. And so just a couple things I wanted to bring up is what will they think of me, right? So I've done other businesses before. I pushed hard. I don't want to go on social media, and trust me, I 110% subscribe to this. Like I've done businesses before. In fact, after doing a business in the past, and I think this is really valid for this call. After doing a business in the past, and I was a big leader for years. I was in that company years and years. And then I left for a long time, and then I decided to come back in. But I had gone through major emotional fallout when I left that company. Like it was oh, I felt like I left my team, and it was hard. It was really I went into depression. It was a big deal to leave a company when I had built such a team. And then to take that time and then to come back in and then how do I represent myself as a new thing, right? And I don't want to be judged for that. So I literally did a video. I think it was 17 minutes long. I believe it was 17 minutes. And I was like, hi, I've been hiding. I just tell you what's going on. And I just told the whole story, raw and real, right? Just let it out. And I had 700 or 800 views on this video. And it literally launched my new business because people were like, well, what are you doing now? It must have been great enough to come out of hiding, right? So I want to plant that. So that was one thing. The other thing that you said was, oh, I can't even read my own writing. I'm sorry. Hold on. Let me look. Not, does that say stakes? Not my stakes. I don't know. Anyway, I'll figure it out. But I think it had to do with, I'll figure it out. I don't want to take any more time. I want you to continue on because you did decide to go ahead and come out into social media and you were trying new things, which was fantastic. I just wanted to validate that one piece and thank you. Okay, go.
So social media. So I my first post was something that's very near and dear to my heart with X39. And I think I'm 47, and I think the majority of women my age are suffering from the same issue. It's the sleep deprivation. And I was like, I got to make a post about this. And I just threw it out, and I just basically said, I used to be, have sleepless nights, and basically just from the heart, I just wrote a whole thing. And and a couple people commented and said, "Oh yeah, that's really cool." And what's interesting about Facebook, which is one thing that you need to remember always, is people are lurking. They don't say anything, they don't like anything, but they're watching. And that's the people you want to hit on the most, but you don't know who they are. And so I suddenly got a phone call that same day. "Hey Lana, this is Julie. How are you? Hey, tell me, what is that sleep thing you're talking about?" I was like, "Oh, hey Julie, good to hear from you," and whatever. And then I shared, um, and I was like, wow, so this is actually not that hard, as long as I need to find a balance. I get very, very passionate on social media. And if I'm passionate about something, I tend to post about it way too much. So I
Yeah.
really am trying to rein that in, and to just a little bit of sprinkles and some personal stuff in between, and some memes in between, and just sort of, sprinkle it right sort of in the middle. And people are watching, and I need to remind myself, um, that even if there's only two, three likes, it doesn't mean there's not 50 views, and
Right.
it doesn't matter how many people like it. So that's really where it's at. And so in parallel to that, I started my own group, and I started inviting people. That is definitely a struggle. People are coming in dribs and drabs. They're not really, most people, the invitation is sitting in their inbox of Facebook, and they haven't accepted it. So it's really tricky, because we get bombarded with how many groups can we be a part of, and how much are we interested in stuff. And so that's where I'm, sort of, that's a little bit slower right now. But I basically make a point of talking still to people one on one, and then listening out to what they're saying, and then say, "Hey, you need to join my group. You need to get on my group. There's tons of great info on there." So that's what I'm working on right now.
Yeah. And it's working. It's working. Like, you're signing people up like crazy. I see my activity every day in my back office, and
Yeah.
it's just like, Ilana, 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 Ilana.
Yay! Finally,
I'm like, girlfriend, what are you
finally.
doing?
I
Share.
know.
Do share. I love it.
but but you're right. It was kind of a click. It was like sort of a, something switched, where I was like, I just got to come out about it, because really most people, it's hard to talk to every person one on one. It's really hard. My days are just so busy. For me to catch up with someone, it's like an hour, to share how the kids, how is everybody, and hey, by the way, I don't have that kind of time. So this is a good way for me to sort of, blanket, reach
Yep.
a bunch of people and
Yep.
see how that goes.
Yep, I love it. I love it. And I think one of the other points I really wanted to make that I want to commend you for, because it is a risk to come in at Diamond and to, to put that belief out, and regardless of the past or whatever was shared with you, in order to make that decision. But what I love about it is the innate sort of I'm all in
Mm-hmm,
energy that goes
mm-hmm,
with that, which means I will face my stuff. If I could swear right now, I would. Starts with
mm-hmm,
SH.
mm-hmm,
If I could face my and sit with my, I would.
mm-hmm,
And
mm-hmm.
and because of that sort of pressure from the investment, it made you not shrink. It made you step
Right,
up. It
right.
made you step up. And there's something really commendable about that. So I really believe in that. There's something about saying I'm all in. I believe in myself enough, whether it's right now because I'm in alignment with soul, and my soul says I want to do this, and I'm not going to let my limited ego crap mind shrink me down, which I know is going to kick in about 3 days, because it always does. I'm going,
Right.
I'm all in. I'm in, I'm in, I'm in. And then to go in and be like, it's like takes your breath away for a second, right? But you're in. You're in. And
Mm-hmm,
then the ego does its thing, and and all the stuff happens, but because of it, you're like, no, it's that accountability is built into your investment. And so there is something to be said about that. And I know I wasn't going to go into why go diamond, but I will refer to this call because this is why you go diamond, is because you know what, Ilana, you could have completely gone backwards and said, nope, I'm out. I'm out. This is isn't going to work for me. Because you only put your feet, you dipped your toes in the water.
Right.
But
Right. You're
but you,
right.
and you called me and you said, oh my God, I am freaking out. I'm
Correct.
freaking out. I made this investment. Granted, I'm getting the patches for the best price possible. I'm going to use them anyway. That's great. Like we know that there's a fail-proof piece in it, is that at the
Mhm.
very least, I got my patches for the best price possible.
That's right. That's right.
But you also knew, like, I really have this vision, and you were willing to just humble yourself in and say, what do I need to learn? What am I doing wrong? Or not wrong, but how can I shift this? And
Right.
you did it, and you're finding your way. And I really wanted to commend you and thank you so much for being on this
Thank you.
call
Thank you.
and letting me, fillet you a little bit.
Right. somebody somebody dead passed my car and there's my chihuahua getting crazy. Yeah, no, but thank you for your support. I mean, really, I wasn't gonna give up, but I had
Right.
a lot. There was a lot of pressure because I felt like, my husband was like, hey, you spend so much money, come on, start bringing back,
Do this,
start
do
making
it, do
some.
it. Yeah.
It was hard. That was the hard part, but I've been through it enough and I've done enough of those things that I just needed to take a step back and just be like, okay, what's my best way to go about it without freaking out? Like, it's just not losing sleep over it, and I'm not going to freak out. It's all going to work out, and it's starting to pay off, which is wonderful.
Mhm.
But yeah, it's been great. It's been great.
I love it. Thank you so
Thank
much.
you for having me.
Thank you. Thank you. And for pulling over and, dark or not, we really
Yep.
appreciate you. And you're just such a joy to have on the team. Thank you so much.
Thank you.
And we'll have you again
Thank you.
soon. Thanks.
All right. Thank
All
you.
right, Alana.
Bye.
Oh, sweet, sweet, sweet. Okay. So, I guess we should perhaps we should go ahead and stay on that topic for tonight. I really want to engage with you guys right now. So it is chat time. I don't have I don't have questions from you guys. So I can either just pull something out of thin air, talk about going diamond, or have you actually ask me questions of what is going to serve you. That's really what I'm here for. So let me just pull up my chat, make sure I have that. I know we had a raised hand earlier. I think that's something we might be able to handle. Was it Shonda? You had a question before? Yep, we've got a hand raised. I don't know how to do that though. Neve, do you know how to do a hand raised? Can we let her on? Oops, I accidentally lowered. Oh, I'm so sorry. I lowered your hand. Raise it again. I think it was Shonda. There we go. Awesome. We got you. Ask to unmute.
I was just gonna
There you
say
are.
that hi, thank you. I was just gonna say that the chat is disabled, so nobody can comment. That might
Oh, it's
be why you don't have
disabled.
any.
Oh, that's a problem. Okay, yeah. Let's get
But
that fixed.
that was a great chat with her and a good thing for anybody who's even been in for a long time,
Good.
that you need to shift and change what you're doing.
Yep. Yep. We're always shifting and changing and finding really our own voice, our own way, because we're all so different, like when I usually have Melissa on, she does social media like a like a pro. And I'm that's like, it's like another language to me. And yet I can be successful in the way that I do things. And so everybody has their own way. And I love that. So I thought I saw another hand. I don't know how to do that. And
Alex, the chat should be open now.
beautiful. Thank you so much. And I'm just looking to find it because I don't have the best view.
The
Here.
other hand was your own hand. You raised your
I
hand.
raised my own hand. Of course. All right, guys. Okay. So how can I serve you? If not, then maybe I will talk a little bit about going diamond and starting with diamond and the different ways of starting, because this seems to come up a lot. Like, how do we, okay, we might have a question. Like, how do we start somebody up on silver, gold, or diamond and make that decision with them? So let me go back to that topic. Okay, I was going to ask the speaker what the shifts she made to receive more yeses when messaging others what she says. I think from what I understand, and I appreciate that, what I understand from calling her and talking with her myself is like, hey, oh my gosh, things are starting to shift for you. She started her Facebook group and started plugging people into it and getting interest. And doing basically the same share of, let me send you, like, what's happening for you, let me send you some information, and following up. I mean, I haven't gotten, there was like nothing different about the system, about what she was doing. It was just the avenue of getting people interested that was more of an attraction marketing rather than reaching out and trying to get somebody interested. She was putting it up as a billboard in a sense and pulling people in that were being attracted in. And I think that's the main difference, because once somebody raises their hand and they're attracted, there's a bit more of a conversation to have. So the shift for her was, let me try this tactic. Let me try, I say tactic. Let me try calling people and having this type of a focus, which was like, for a little while, it was a who do you know, as she said, who do you know? And then she was listening to what Melissa was doing with her group and said, well, maybe I should actually go ahead and get into social media and start posting content and information to share testimony and to share what these patches are and what they do and studies and so on, and see if I can attract people in. And that was the switch. So she was willing to try different avenues to find the way that was going to work with her tribe. And that's what I understand was the big difference. But I love that. Okay, having problems with Canada post. I saw this question in Facebook. I don't know about Canada. So that is not a question that I can ask. Silver pack still not delivered and no way to track. Anybody else? Okay, so if anybody else is in Canada and having these issues, please take a peek at the chat. There's been some problems with tracking posts and things not being delivered on time, I guess. So yeah, I don't know anything about that. If anybody knows anything about Canada right now, please answer back to Sally. Otherwise, I would take that to the Quantum Field Team Facebook group and see if we can get some answers there. But really, it's probably going to be a call into the company. Okay, I went in as diamond. I have my own story, so I'll try Facebook. How do I do Facebook? Okay, so like I said, I'm not like a big social media person. However, last week, the week before, I think the week before that, there is so much that we have covered on these launch labs in regards to social media with Melissa in particular, because she's really good at it. And so if you go to the LifeWave, I'm sorry, not to LifeWave. Let me tell you what it is. It's youtube.com/@ Quantum Field Team. Neve, if you could put that in the chat, if you're still at the computer, that would be awesome. If our YouTube link, you guys subscribe to the YouTube, go to the playlist, Wednesday playlist, you will find the launch labs. And like I said, it's this call, but it's different every single week. And I don't know that we've had anything that's really duplicated the same training. They're all different and they're all really good. So if you want to get some really great training and plug your people into great training, that, like, just go through that series. But there's lots about social media. And just especially in the last couple of weeks. Again, Monday nights, we just started Leadership Lab in the middle of January. And Leadership Lab is a little bit later focus, but there's also some of these concepts in there as well. So if you want to take a peek at that, that would be probably helpful for you. I am not your expert for Facebook, but if you want to show up again next week, Melissa will probably be back and we can tackle some more questions about that for sure. what else we got here? Social media vehicle. Okay, so that's where we're at with that. I had a lady almost signed up, but her son had a degree in molecular cellular biology and he called it snake oil. Yep, sure. I don't know how to answer that. You can't say the right thing to the wrong person. And some people really just know what they know, and they're not willing to know what they don't know. That's really the answer to it. I've done a couple of interviews with David Schmidt. In fact, I did one last night. It will be posted soon. So excited. And I'm all about the science. And so if somebody's not willing to dive into the science, there's just nothing you can do about it. It's honestly, can't say the right thing to the wrong person. Yeah, you just can't. So it's that sort of why, I go into this a bit in the natural selling series. And so on it's on our build331.com. Build331.com is our team website training site. And if you go to step 9, down at the bottom, you will see there's a whole series called natural selling, or not natural selling, it's called soulful selling. And I really go through how to create, how to meet with people and create dialogue and know when to share and how to share and so on. And it kind of covers this in a way at a certain point where you won't even present to somebody who's not open to presenting to. And you'll come to know this. But then again, if somebody throws it to their son and the son is a molecular biologist or something, what can you do? What can you do? I'm sorry, I don't have a better answer than that, but you definitely don't want to go back to that person and say, yeah, but that's what made me think of that training, because it's just an objection. And once you have an objection, you don't want to go down that road of dealing with objections, because it's just an uphill battle. And that's where you just kind of want to say, step aside and next, and let's move forward and not set ourselves back trying to change somebody else's mind when they're not open. And so I maybe I would say personally, if that happened to me, I might say, well, if that's what you want to believe, that's fine. If you want to see any other evidence from my end, happy to share, and leave it at that. That's about kind of how I would handle that. Personally, I already know. I know what I know, So that's not going to set me aside, but I'm not going to try to convince somebody else and have that even possibly rock my boat. And with a new person, somebody who's newer in the business, that will rock their boat if somebody starts to challenge them and they don't feel confident in objecting, right? Dealing with those objections. But I just don't deal with those objections. I know what I know, and I'm not going to, I choose my battles wisely. I don't know if this is making sense. I hope it does. Let me know. Okay. I know it's not super duplicable for everyone, but do you use automated text for people using the patch? Something like Project Broadcast, perhaps? Week 1 and beyond? No, I don't. I think it's great to have templates. I think it's really great to really craft some great templates that you can then go in and kind of personalize. But especially on those first couple of follow-ups, it's all about relationship, you guys. It's about relationship. If you want to build this business and you want to bring people into your team, it's all about them buying you. They buy you along with the patches. Yes, the patches are amazing. Yes, the company is amazing, but who they decide to partner with and do business with and grow like a new life with is you. So building that relationship is huge. And the nuance of those first follow-up calls with them is going to help you to really mine out the things that are happening that they don't even realize are happening. There's so much gold in those first calls with somebody. I want you to be so excited about those first follow-up calls. I do them within the first week, and then within the first 3 weeks before they hit that 1 month period. I had 2 calls in that first month I think are critical. Building relationship, making sure they're using the patches, making sure they're taking copper supplements, because that's going to help them. I'm telling you guys, it's huge, 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 huge. Talked about it in Leadership Lab on Monday. Go to the YouTube page, go to Leadership Lab, watch Monday's call. Talk about that. Huge. And that second call before their next auto ship, is their hair growing? Are they sleeping better? How's your energy? Tell me about how you feel when you wake up. Are you drinking less coffee? Are you taking less energy stuff? What about your workouts? What about your recovery? What about your mood? How's your, like, there's so much to explore that you will not be able to do in an automation. You just won't. You won't, you will miss it. You will miss the opportunity to connect. And where things are going in the world, and this might be a little bit metaphysical, but I'm that way. I'm very spiritual, is we are all moving into a place where if we don't have relationship, everything's so automated, everything is so disconnected. People are so disconnected and they've got like 3 seconds of attention span that if you actually take a few minutes to connect with somebody and meet them heart to heart and look for the gold in them and reflect that back to them, I'm telling you, the relationships you will build can last a lifetime. And whether that's for business or not, will enrich you. It just will enrich you. So that's what I'm going to say to that. I know that's a little bit heavy, but I can't say enough about it. It's so, so, so beautiful. And then you can automate, like honestly, I'm all about automation. Like, trust me, I'm like super all about automation. Like, I have systems, I built all that kind of stuff. I'm a coach. I had the full on, and I do. I have full on. If somebody comes in and they want to do some healing work with me and they want to buy a package, they buy a package, they get an automatic email, do schedule, blah, blah, blah. But once I get on the phone with them, it's going deep and connecting, right? So if whatever your automation does gets you on the phone with them at some point, perfect. If it's just a template or something that's going to help remind you to do that, just make it personal and get with them one-to-one, however you can, as soon as possible. Okay. Hope that helps. Okay, agree. Thank you. I will start to create a template for my team. I can't find the templates to help them know what to send yet. So, Stella, can you come on live with me? I'd love to have that little chat. Oh my gosh, it's 4:43. We don't have the time. The time's going by so fast. Okay. So, Stella, real quick, if you can, hop on real quick. Oh, next time, she says. Let's do that next time. Please make sure you raise your hand next time. Let's have that discussion. I'd love to chat about that because there really aren't templates, but you certainly can create, what works for you because everybody's unique in terms of how they follow up and how they do what they do. So, like even for me, would I call it a template? I just have a templated idea. What do I do on call number 1? What do I do on call number 2? What do I do on call number 3? So Stella, I'm gonna hold you to account. Please remind me next week. Let's talk about that. What do we do on that first call? What do we do on that second call? What do we do on that third call? In fact, if you want to post that in Facebook, love that. That'd be awesome. I don't want to forget. And the last one was beautiful connection, relationship, cool. Beautiful. And thank you, Stella. Beautiful. Next time. Okay. Sweet. So we have like 1 or 2 more minutes here. 4:44. Good number. I will say this. My first call is to make sure they're using the patches and to see if they were one of the lucky ones that got something right away. So basically, and I've texted that. I think we did this on one of the past calls. I give them a text. I'm like, hey, making sure you got your patches and that you're wearing them every day and, and so on. Maybe you're one of the lucky ones that felt, that's feeling something, let me know, like around sleep or energy or, your workouts and I give them like 5 things. Keep me posted. Super excited. Send that off. And sometimes it's, oh, I just got it. Oh, I haven't started yet. Oh yeah, I just started. Or, so this is going to get them on their habit. And then the next call is more of a checkup, like, okay, it's 3 weeks. Check your hairline. How's your energy now? Have you been wearing them regularly? Making sure. And at this point, most people, I try to set them up on their auto ship in their first month, and then and so I want to make sure that I have that opportunity to check in with them, make sure they're ready for that, and then I remind them that that's coming. I usually get people set up on silver with an auto ship right away. We've had this conversation many times in this call. Again, we can tackle this next week if we do this sort of like, what are the follow-up calls? What do they look like? To connect with people and to kind of mine out how they're doing and make sure that they're ready for the next things, all of that. So we'll talk about that next week for sure. And that was the third call. The third call is really after after a little bit longer, more like 6 to 7, 8 weeks in. This is where I'm really starting to like, okay, let's talk about what's happening for you and who do you know? Because at this point, most people are having great results, and I want to start trying to get, like expand my list via their people. And this is what starts to build team. And they don't necessarily want to do the business, but they will be willing to most often share who they know, because I'm amplifying the results they're getting, talking about the other things. I've been in touch with them already. This is not weird to talk to me about this product, at this point. And so I'm like, who do you know? Let me show you how to share information, or not information, but to like introduce me to people. And then the next call is when I'm starting to bring their people in, and we can start talking about, thank you so much for that referral. Thank you so much for that referral. Let's talk about, now you've got money in your back office. So let's talk about the possibilities. This is sort of that series of exposures. This is a sort of backdoor way of getting people like really naturally and organically. I don't mean backdoor like we're trying to, it's not a tactic. It's just a way that we organically bring people into the business, whereas other people just see it right away. So I'm not trying to be like sly about it. I'm always really proud of what I do. And I'm always like, hey, this is what I do. I love what I do. If you want to do what I do with me, let's do it. But otherwise, I kind of bring them in that sort of like organic, natural way of, who do you know? Like, this is what I do. Send me some referrals. Just like if you had a storefront, or you were or if you were a realtor or whatever, like shameless self-promotion. This is what I do. Send me some referrals, right? It's what we do. So, so we'll talk about that too. Anyway, all right. So we're going to wrap it up for tonight. It was great. I think that was awesome. I will have hosts next time, so I don't have to like throw the glasses on and squint. But thank you guys for being here tonight. I'm going to be on this next call in about 10 minutes. I'm going to turn my screen off. And if you have a few minutes to call a couple of people, the 331, that one is to invite somebody to a live call. We'll be talking about the product, company, business, and a little bit about the marketing plan and getting started. So invite some people onto it. See if you can join, get them to join, and I'll do my best to help them make a decision. All right. Thanks so much.